Well, here we are again. It's another Wednesday evening CNC router and laser and plasma cutter hangout. That's for you, Jack, by the way. Jack, you win the prize tonight for being the first to comment. As soon as I posted that this live was going to happen, Jack made a comment. He said, only
Yep.
5.5 hours to go. Jack in the shop, the
Yep.
man, the man. I'm Garrett with IDC Woodcraft. Welcome to our Wednesday night hangout with Kate Tucker from Women
Yep.
Who CNC. Say hi, Kate.
Hi, guys. How are you? I hope everybody enjoyed their last Wednesday off. We let y'all off the hook. We had some obligations. So now we're
Yeah,
back. I hope you guys are
yeah.
ready to go. It looks like I'm already seeing like a bajillion questions
Oh,
and
good Lord. Yeah,
stuff
we'll
going
get
on
into it.
already. So
So,
welcome
so,
back.
yeah, yeah. So, okay. So, what crazy thing happened to you last week that kept you from coming on board to our Wednesday live?
Oh gosh. So I had two soccer games. It was so weird because I didn't like know what to do with my time off. I was like sitting at these soccer games. I'm like, God, what am I missing? Like I kept looking at my calendar. I'm just like, I was like, something's supposed to be happening. And I was like, oh yeah, it's Wednesday night. So
Yeah, there you
anyway,
go.
it was a little wild. What about you? What were you doing?
Me, I was in Vancouver, Canada. I was with my Dragon Entrepreneur group, in the entrepreneurs group that's called Dragon 100, and this
Yeah.
is to learn about business, just like uh, anybody who wants to start a business needs to have a mentor, right? And anybody, and
Absolutely.
I will tell you, anybody that's been successful in business has had a mentor, right? So,
I would agree.
uh huh,
With you
uh
being mine, it's been
huh.
instrumental.
Why would you say that was key in getting you shifted and going the direction you're going in?
Mainly for me, it was mindset. I was in the totally wrong mindset. I was chasing job after job, just hoping to be successful in what I was doing, chasing a dollar, if you will.
Hmm.
And that was just the totally wrong headspace. And I did not have as you like to say, is I was trying to sell to everyone. And what happened is really I was selling to no one because there was so much confusion in my business, in the projection that I was putting out about my business that I had, and it just was not going in the direction that I wanted. I was not having that takeoff, if you will.
Hmm.
I didn't have a niche, and I was just kind of like all over the place. I was also doing too many social platforms to really I was kind of burning out. I was burning both ends of the candle at the same time, and it really
Hmm.
was honestly mentally wearing me out because I was struggling with trying to keep up with my projects, take pictures, film, video, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest. I mean, you name it, I was there. I think at one point we counted up, what was it, like 9 different platforms I was trying to post to on the regular. Like, most people would be like, "Holy crap." And that's exactly where I was. So,
Yeah,
I was hitting, like, this roadblock, and I wasn't seeing any growth in my business, and that's when
right,
you and
right.
I went through that
As
transformative series.
yeah, as I I've learned too that if you don't have a focus, right, it's like a laser beam. If it just has no focus, it just shines a little light everywhere. But
Yeah,
the more focused you are, the more niched you are in, the tighter that beam becomes, and the more you can penetrate into the market easier, faster. Um, uh,
yeah,
Extreme clarity in what you're doing gives you extreme results.
absolutely. I would
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree with that.
All right. So yeah, and I achieved what a little award. I got the Entrepreneur of the Award, or what they call Dragon of the Year award, and
Little
it's
award.
a literal. This thing is heavy. It's heavy. It's the just like it's the same company that makes the Emmy awards, right?
That is so incredible. Okay, y'all, I just have to stop like him right here because he has been working his tail off. We need to like celebrate this right now because we are all so guilty of like we finish a carve, we're like, okay, it looks great, let's move on to the next thing. Garrett has been busting his butt working for us working for the community and doing all of the things and growing a business, and he got Dragon of the Year. How many entrepreneurs are there in like this huge group? I mean,
Right.
you guys, we got to give him a big congratulations, a high five, or something. Send him an email. Just give him all the love. Because, I mean, as you all know, being entrepreneurs and business people ourselves, when you hit those types of milestones, you have to take a minute and reflect and say, look at what I did. This,
Hmm.
as Instagram said it so well one time, I love it. It was on a reel, and it said entrepreneur. It means I did that shit by myself. Now,
Right.
you have a little bit of a team in place to help you, but without you, there would be no IDC Woodcraft. There wouldn't be
Right.
this, incredible community that you've helped to build. So,
Right.
just
Well, thank you.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
It's,
yeah,
I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
you
This
should
is
be.
something that we were talking about this today on the phone. I want everybody to hear this who is trying to start a CNC business and wants to get rolling and generate decent revenue. Right. This
Yeah.
Dragon of the Year, when I got into this entrepreneurs group, which is not easy to get into, it's a rather elite entrepreneurs group.
Hmm.
I created and carved out a big plaque that says Dragon of the Year. Right. And that was my focus. It's been hanging on my wall for a year and a half.
I
Right.
remember
And
that. Yeah.
right. So the thing is when you've got to create that focus and that vision in your mind, and you got to hold
Hmm.
on to it. And so I was saying to you today, what do you want? Write it down, write it over and over and over again. And the more clear it is, the more it will happen.
Yeah. Yep. Because I've been struggling with that a little bit too. Trying to balance the women who CNC and the training that I'm trying to provide to the ladies, and working on the website and doing all that background work, like that takes away from my actual business. um,
Mhm.
and it's just me, and still trying to run a house and maintain a yard, and my husband's been gone for 10 days now. um, and he comes home for a couple days and then he's gone again, so I'm juggling the kids, I'm juggling sports, I'm juggling business, life in between. And it's been really hard. And Garrett and I talked earlier, and I was like, I'm just like, ugh. I'm just wore out. Like last week, I set my router on fire, which was super fun. Trust me. Don't try to cut ash. Don't try to surface ash. Does not come out well. I thought it was oak. It was my mistake. Uh, yeah. So
Right. Right.
good times.
Yep.
It's been
That
a little bit of a rough
also,
week.
yeah, also business, right, is requires sacrifice. It requires time. And
Yeah.
one of our brothers, Sam, I saw Sam. He
Coleman.
posted he posted in Facebook that he just keeps working at it, right? And that's what it takes. Just keep working at it. But laser
Absolutely.
focus. You got to be willing to let go of other stuff. We can't make everything for everybody. So, all right, let's say hellos to some people, Kate.
Yeah, all right. So of course Jackie got his winner turkey dinner, first place. Let's see, we've got Oz tonight.
Hi, Oz.
We got Gary Lynn is back. Let's see, we've got Richard. Welcome back. We've got Laser 3114. Tim is back. Woohoo!
Hi, Tim.
Both his YouTube channels are on here. The Wood and Tobacco Accessories. Tom Frank. Look
Hi,
at Bart's
Tom.
back.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bart's there, man. Oh, look
Looks
at
like
Bart with his little
Madra.
doodlies.
I know. I know. Love those little things. I always know that's him.
I don't know how you find that emoji. Pretty cool.
The mouse and flourishes. Oh, let's see. Ellen's on here as Madra
Hi, Ellen.
3213. Let's see. We've got Jim. Looks like Schuler. Dion. Hey, brother. How you doing? Oh my gosh, there's some lengthy comments on here. I hope I'm gonna have to go back and kind of read some of these. We've got
Yeah.
Carolyn is back tonight.
Hi, Caroline.
Robert. Oh, we've got Donna Bixler.
Hi,
Welcome. We've got
Donna.
Chris.
I haven't seen Donna before.
I
Was
don't
Donna
think
here
I have
before?
either. I
Hi,
I don't think
Donna.
so. Yeah,
All
you'll have
right.
to
Well,
let us know in the
Donna.
comments if this is your first time on here.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Chris from Australia. He's one of our regulars. Welcome back, brother. We've got Jerry. Let's see. Looks Looks like there's a little chatter. We've got Jim
But
and let's see. Okay, we've got Keith Kessler. Michael, he's back. Back from chilly Boston. I bet it is a little chilly.
Yeah, it's about that time of year for it to get cool and the lake effect snow to start getting ready to kick in there.
I know. All right, and then we've got Patrick. All
Hi,
right, so
Patrick.
I'm gonna stop about right there. That's about 7:55. My cursor just keeps getting smaller. My little scroll dial just keeps getting smaller and smaller. So I'm gonna try to go back up and read some of these comments. Let's see.
Okay, so we're starting to scroll through comments to find the questions, and we will work to get to the bottom of the list. It rarely happens, but we'll do our best.
Yeah. Okay, so Gary Lynn, he popped in right at 5:15 with his first question. He is asking about nodes. He says, good evening. Coasters 4x4, 3.5 pocket, 1/4 inch rim. I have a 4-inch outside. The circle has several arrows and a green node at the 2 o'clock position. I want to move the node to the 2 o'clock position.
To the 12 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
hover over. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
You got it.
No, go ahead.
All right, just hover over the node that you want to be the start node, the green node, and click. Is it the S button? No, not S.
I think
P,
what I
I
would
think.
do for a new beginner is right click
Right
and then
click,
pull
yeah.
up that menu and you can
Yeah.
change the
Hover
start
up.
position.
Yeah, hover over the node, right click, and a little menu will pop up, and you'll see the thing for make start position.
Yep, you got it. You got it. So that'll help you out. Oh, okay. It looks like some people were helping him out with that.
Richard's
Okay.
got a couple questions.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, go ahead with his if you want.
Okay. Hi, Richard.
It says, question, what extensions run on Vectric and what do they mean, etc. DFX.
DXF.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's several extensions. You want to run this one through?
Well, without knowing them all right off the bat, so the different extensions are basically your different file types that you want. So I know there's like AI, which is Adobe Illustrator. There's an EPS. I'm not sure what the EPS one
I'm not
is.
sure what that one is either.
I know there's the SVG file, which is like a scalable vector graphic. There's your DXF. I can never remember what DXF stands for.
Right.
Basically, it's like, I think of DXF, it's a better format for Vectric than an SVG. It's kind of like an upgraded. It has the component to work with both CAD and CAM. It's like I said, it's just kind of an upgrade of an SVG. So it's a way to export into a different program. So then that way, because Vectric is Vectric specific, so if you go down to your file menu in the top left corner of your Vectric program and go down to export, then you can save that file as a different format, as an SVG, DXF, AI, EPS, whatever it is. Then that way you can run that particular design in a different software.
Right. So you can export as an SVG or DXF and then open it up in a different software. But you can't open a CRV, which is the Vectric specific extension, in a different software. So you need to export it as a generic design.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
What are some of the other ones? I'm not sure what some of the other design softwares are, like Fusion 360 and what have you. But
I'm
then
not sure what they run.
But then you have your G code files too, right? And depending on your machine, it depends on what the extension will be. So some will be a TXT, others will be G code. There's a TAP, NC.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of different extensions. So yeah, but DXF, SVG are the vector files that can be transferred from program to program.
Yep, absolutely. And okay, So he says, for receiving payments at craft shows, does anyone use Square Up?
Okay. Uh, you can answer that because I don't use any of this kind of stuff. I don't know if you've
No,
done
that's
this.
okay. I personally don't use Square Up. I think their fees are just a little bit high for what I like to do. I personally don't really do craft fairs anymore, so I know that the community's probably going to be all over this one and trying to help you out with this particular question. I am trying to remember. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to remember what I used. I think I just used my PayPal account is what I used, or Venmo is so huge right now. I mean, everybody and their mother has Venmo, and you can even get on the Venmo account and get like a QR code at a craft fair, and then basically just have that printed up, and then people scan it with their camera. They just open up the camera feature and scan it, and then they can say pay credit card, however they want to pay. Um, that's the way that I personally use it. Square has fees. As you know, PayPal has fees. If you have a business account, you can't get away with that goods and services feature. That's only on a personal account. Um, so, there's lots of different options. I'm trying to think of the other one. A lot of people accept Apple Pay, um, Apple Cash, and those are two different things. Just so you know, Apple Pay has like your credit cards, debit card, stuff like that. Apple Cash is basically just like you're sending cash to someone through a text message, which just feels kind of awkward, but it works. So those are just a few to name that, but I know our community will help you guys because there's probably a lot of people that do craft fairs that probably can give you a very detailed breakdown of what the best one is.
Yeah, that's
So,
yep, good way to go. And anybody here who has done that, obviously throw them in the comments, help them out like you guys do with each other. But so that's what's so cool about this group, that you guys are
yeah.
always helping out each other. And when Kate and I sit here going, oh, I don't know, someone else out there knows. So
Yeah.
here's a fun one from Jim. He says he's here and clear, ready to win the free long mill 48 by 30 I'm giving away. Uh, the old broke down worker bee that he has.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
wishful thinking. Unfortunately, my long mill, my phantom are staying right here. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, I know. Plus, you've got
Yeah.
that big laser too. We need to,
Actually, we're gonna get that fired up. Oh, okay. I got to talk to you. Tell everybody about this, right? So we got the
yeah.
Beast CNC router bit, and I was telling the girls, right? So we have Liberty and Julian, who,
Mhm.
Liberty is our shipping manager. Julian's the administrator. And I said, girls, we got to come up with some fun stuff for people. Right. And so they started brainstorming and they came up with this awesome idea that I'm going to do. Right.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so we're going to fire the laser up and we're going to cut out little beasts. So we got the Beast router bit and
Yep.
the beast logo thing. We're going to
Oh
cut
my
out little
gosh.
beasts on that, and we're going to start sending those out, and then we're going to have a little contest. Where's the beast, right? So people hide it somewhere on their CNC machine and take a picture and post it to Facebook.
Oh my gosh. That will be so hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Little
Where's the
baby
beast?
beast.
Yeah,
Where
that's
is
like
the
where's
beast?
Waldo? And then we were
I
talking
love it.
about a squishy beast, right? For
Ooh,
for those
yeah.
for those times when you're going, oh, this design isn't working. Okay, just grab your squishy beast and
Yeah. You know what? I have a really good question. So I actually had a one-on-one session today,
okay.
and I told him, I said, you broke the system today. Um, so what was happening is within Vectric, and I had this happen to me once, but I can't remember what I did to fix the solution. So basically, no, so he had I think it was like a 24 wide by 32 like plaque that he was carving out. And he had 4 3D logos on there, which were all fine. They were in a dish, so they were all being carved in, no problems. And then he was doing some text on a curve up above, and it was just 3 lines. It was simple text. It wasn't anything complicated. But what was happening is no matter what the depth of the VCarve that we set, it looked like, I mean, it was like plunging way into the material. Do you remember a while back when I sent you a photo when I'm like, I carved like all of these like 8 signs perfectly, or 7 signs, and it got to the 8th sign and then it just like dug in like out
Oh,
of
yeah.
nowhere. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, so it was like the wildest thing. I've never had anything like that happen
And
since then, but it was like that one time.
did it for him? Did he carve? Did it come out right in the design, but then it would carve wrong, or was it
No, he
design?
still looked wonky in the design, but he thought maybe, it was a flaw or something, so he started carving. And then basically what it does is it just dives straight into the material and then it tries to carve. So I looked at like, start depth, flat depth. He didn't have
Right.
anything in the start depth. We looked at like job setup. We looked at material setup. I looked at it in the 3D preview and what it was look like and how far it was carving down. I looked at the 3D preview, um, to see if everything like the modeling planes were level.
Hmm.
Maybe if Mark Lindsay pops on here, maybe he can
Yeah.
give some ideas. Has anybody had that happen to them? I'm really curious. I'm asking y'all a question tonight. So,
Yeah. Put a comment down there if you've seen something like that. As far as running projects over and over, and then suddenly the bit does something that you don't want it to do. Uh, I've experienced like a machine stop, right?
yeah.
And that's like from electrical noise, and something like that. I think I'm going to guess it's something similar. You get a what they call EMI, electromagnetic interference,
Yeah.
from or surge going through the system, and it just for a moment just screws up the control for where it thinks
Well,
it's at.
I thought maybe it might be something like that too, but he said he's been having this issue for like 3 or 4 weeks. He's redone the entire design like 2 or 3 different times. Um, I even did something. I said, okay, well, let's change up the text and let's see. I mean, it's 24 inches wide. So, I mean, it's not like he's trying to carve 12 inches in tiny little letters. I mean, it's 2 foot
It,
wide and just 3 simple lines of text. And I even like said, okay, well, let's just move your text out of the way. Let's recreate the text, put it back on there and see what it is. Boy, we could not come up with anything.
uh,
So,
if everything looked good to you, then that may be something you may want to take to Vector.
yeah.
If you so if you have something that's just acting like really weird and it shouldn't be, and you know it shouldn't be, and you can't solve it, send the file to Vectric and ask them to help you troubleshoot it.
Okay. That's a really good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I mean, they're the ones
Okay.
that wrote the software. Okay.
Facts.
Yep. Okay. So that's it. Last question was at 7:20. Oh,
Oh,
the last comment about winning my long mill. Yeah. Nice try, brother.
yeah, I know. Oh, somebody says, Ellen said, I could use another machine, one for work and one for play. I love it. Man, that is the facts. That is a fact of life right there.
Right. One for work
Uh,
and one for play. Oh, good. Kate, I gave Kate some access to the StreamYard service that we're using right now. So now she can pop comments in too. Good.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here's one about the comment from the let's see here, from Dion. He's talking to Richard. He said, I'm planning on using the Square Up terminal for in-person sales. I'm building my Square e-commerce site now. The terminal should be in my e-store items to let people browse. Very cool. Yeah, I forgot that they actually had like a full platform. Um, I think that's neat. I didn't realize they had all the things now, but maybe they're a little bit more user friendly than they used to be when I was doing that stuff. So that's good to hear. All right. So let's see.
There's some comments that I'm going through now of people seeing if they can talk me into giving away my long mill.
Hashtag long mail giveaway.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Heck, you
love it.
guys were talking
Carolyn,
about this before Kate and I got on the system here.
I know it. Carolyn is asking, she said, where's the giveaway? Instagram, Facebook? No, no giveaway, Garrett's.
No
They're
giveaway.
they're just they're conjuring up their own little schemes over
Yeah.
here.
There's a vicious rumor is going to get started on this one.
Ah, You're gonna be getting all kinds of emails. Okay, so let's see. Donna has a great question here. She says, current project, how do I carve a symbol into a chair back with a 24.5-inch radius? I click the box to apply into a 3D model, but it still cuts flat. Any advice? Oh boy. Oh, this is a little bit of a tricky
into a
one.
chair back with a 12-inch radius. I click the box to apply it to the 3D model, but it still cuts flat. I'm assuming that the chair back is a 3D model that you put in.
Yeah.
I saw a little comment from Jack. He was asking something about that, but I don't remember what that was. What's timestamp is this? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I was gonna say what.
So Jack asked if she had Jack asked if she had a 3D model of the chair back loaded. All right.
Mhm.
So the only reason I would think that this wouldn't work is if it's not a 3D model you're working with in the software.
Mhm. Yeah, you've got to have the actual. You're right. You've got to have that exact 3D model, and there are some really good people that will create those 3D models. Yeah, I'm thinking that's about the only way to really to do that. I don't know if maybe putting it into like a dish.
Yeah, if it's
You
not
know,
3D model, maybe you can do that. You can take a dish model and set the dish height and just kind of get it to where you think it's going to be.
that's
Enlarge
what I
that
was
disc
thinking.
to the length of the. That's a good. So I was talking
I was trying to
to.
think outside the box here.
Yeah. You take the 3D model dish and expand it to the size of the chair back piece, and
And then
then you
make the
change
depth.
and change the depth of it, and then you should get relatively close. I was helping our brother Joe Lazara
Okay.
yesterday. Yeah, he was
Okay,
stuck with
nice.
he's doing a flag, an American flag, and he's putting a badge on it. Joe is in law enforcement, and
Yeah.
the stripes were off center, and so he couldn't get them to center. The centering tool wouldn't move it, and it happened,
I hate
and
that.
he couldn't. Well, yeah, he couldn't get it to move because the stars were too high. It's centered based on stars. He's just looking at he has tunnel vision into the stripes, which is what we're looking at, and we're not
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, wait, the stars are out of position too." So we had to, but we had to
Yeah.
cheat the system. We had to move the stripes, center the stripes, and then come back, create a box around the union, a rectangle for the union, and then pull the stars up, centering on the union.
Yeah.
So
It's
if that
so
makes
funny
sense.
the things that you have to do with Invectric to, I mean, we've said it 100 times, there's like 5 ways to do everything with Invectric, and sometimes you just really have to start to get creative and,
Yeah.
really think outside the box and how can I make this? And that's the best piece of advice you can give is literally, because sometimes you just get such tunnel vision, and sometimes you just have to walk away, go get something to drink,
Yeah.
just walk away for 5 minutes, let your brain kind of
Think about it.
unclog and
Yeah.
start over.
Think about it without you thinking about it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Has anyone used QR code in Vectric Pro Design? Yes, I've done it. I'll take I'll create a QR code and then I'll import. I could probably find a way to create it as an SVG or DXF, but I import the QR code into the software as a bitmap, and then I'll trace the bitmap.
Okay. But now are you trying to actually, like, dumb question, why would you want to carve that? Because it wouldn't work.
Actually, it does.
Does it really?
Yeah, believe it or not, yeah.
No kidding.
So if you have a long mill, right? For those who have
Okay.
long mills, many of them know that on my Etsy store, the IDC Woodcraft Etsy store, is you can buy the file for the long mill spoil board for the 48 and for the 30, and
Okay.
Yep, and in those spoil boards, as you carve out the grid, it'll come over and it'll carve out a QR code.
What?
Yeah,
And it actually works. Like when you put your camera on it to scan it, it actually scans.
it actually works.
Holy crap. That's
Yeah,
incredible. I never knew that.
yeah.
I would
So
think,
that's what. Oh, go ahead.
It would just have all those like, I don't know. I always think of QR codes like there's some like, ooh, like they just have like all these like underlying layers. And just to think that like to scan a piece of wood, it would actually work. It's just like,
All it needs is the contrast. The camera just needs a contrast to see the difference between the background surface and the code itself, and it'll work.
interesting.
And by the way, folks, when it comes to business and your projects and you're selling projects, get your QR code on your projects. Use a laser or use your router, get it on the back of the projects. And your QR code should not go to your Facebook to look for likes. It should always go to your website. It should go to the place where the sale can happen for people. The reason you do that is down the road, if I bought, so Kate's going to make, she's in the process of making a river table for me.
Yep.
And so it's so cool. And when all is said and done, on the bottom, she should have a QR code on it. And down the road, when maybe when I've moved on, my daughter has inherited that table, 30 years from now, right? I expect to be around for quite some time. And then they say, where can I get that? And they can scan the QR code, and there they go back to Kate's website.
Yep.
Right. Kate's River Table website. Your QR codes and everything. Whenever you possibly can.
Yeah.
Right? It's a business. Give people the tools to find you.
Absolutely. Well, and you said something really valuable to me too, is you have to advertise yourself. You are your biggest cheerleader. And so if you're not advertising yourself and you're expecting people to find you, it's not going to happen.
Yes.
You have to put yourself out there. You have to be your own advocate and advertise for yourself.
Yeah.
So
yesterday, as I was looking through Facebook, I did see a couple of business comments, and one of them was on that. The person had built the website. They said that, but I'm still not getting traction. Right? So you have to understand when it comes to business, Kate, how fast does business happen when you're growing your business?
It's like a snail.
Right.
Snail's pace. We're just creeping along. It's more like a slug. It's just
you have to be
like
patient.
Sam said earlier, you just have to keep at it.
I have got to put together a business program for people, right? Because there's so many things to really take into account. When you're building a website, you're not building a website for you. You're building a website for people who are coming to shop. So you want to engage them. So we have to get out of our own heads and say, what does the market want? What is going to intrigue them and engage them? You also have to think about the way that you write stuff. SEO. If you're creating a website, Google is constantly searching for things that people are searching for, right? So if I'm searching for American flag with military logo on it, right? Google is going to return results based on that, but it can't return the results unless the websites have that information in it in a way that Google is going to know that that's what it is. And how does Google know? By how I search, the terms I use. So you always got to think about how people are looking for stuff. Images are not for you. Pictures are for people coming to your site to greet. Etsy store, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I saw someone, he made military flags, and he said he had his website done. So I clicked on his link. This was like a year ago, and his header picture was some guy on the top of a mountain holding a red flag in a military uniform, right? And holding just a cloth flag, right? And the first impression we get is, what the hell does this mean? Right? It was all about him. I said, what was that? Well, it's my dad. It's a picture I honor. Yeah, well, the rest of the market doesn't care. right? You're not building a website for you. If you are,
Yeah.
then you have a hobby, right? We go back to that. You have a hobby.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah, absolutely. Well, and I mean, and I went through that with building the Women Who CNC logo. I was like, but I really like this. And you were like, it's not about you. It's about what the market tells you they want. And even you and I decided like that we really liked one particular logo. And then when I posted it, all the women said, nope, we like this one. We like this one. And that was the consistent thing. Even from women that were not in the Women Who CNC, like friends of mine, they said, no, I really like that one. I like that one better. By the way, if you can see it with my
yes.
logo, this is one of my new sweatshirts that I am
Stand up a
is
little
on our
bit. Your
sweatshirt.
name's in the way.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay,
This
so
is
yeah, go ahead.
this is
Look at
actually
that.
all embroidered. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, it's it's awesome. We've also got our lovely little stickers here. So
Yes.
we've got a couple other things. Maybe I'll show you guys those here in a little bit. But I love this sweatshirt. I picked a really high quality sweatshirt because uh, it's no joke out here in the wood shop, and winter's coming, and we like our big thick hoodies. This is a good thick hoodie to have. So
Where
I
can
tried
your
to pick a
ladies
good high
get some of
quality
that?
sweatshirt. So we can get them over on the Women Who CNC website. You can go check out the merch. We've got bags, we've got stickers, we've got other sweatshirts. I really like this one here.
It says
This is probably,
womenwhocnc.com, right?
yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ones. Um, Let me get the strings out of the way here. But it says woodwork her, which I see. I love that. It's just super cute. And then, of course, we're representing not only female woodworkers, but we've got our Women Who CNC logo on the sleeve. And then it's just a really good quality material. It's got the grommets,
It looks good.
really,
Looks really
really
good quality.
thick, yeah, really thick cords. It's a really nice, good quality sweatshirt. So,
Right. Okay, well, let's set the foundation here. So, the way this whole live on Wednesday started was what 6 8 months ago. Kate said, "I need help. I need some guidance." Right. So I said, "Okay."
yeah,
She became receptive to mentoring, so she offered to do it live, and right. So Kate's coming in with no focus on her business, and through all this, she had to identify who her customer was, who she really wanted to serve. That would be her passion, and that was other
yeah,
women who we'll talk about in a minute, but women who are getting into the creative space. And from that, now she's building a brand around that, right? And so that's one of the important things, depending on how high you want to go in business, is building a brand for yourself, right? And
yeah.
so, but so now she has Women Who CNC, the Women Who CNC Facebook group. Go ahead, Kate. Let's talk about the Facebook group. Invite the ladies in. Tell them what the rules are, and then also what is the foundation for Women Who CNC. And the reason I'm asking this question is for all others who are interested in business. The idea is to understand a business is, and a brand is not just a picture. It's not a pretty picture. There's an identity behind it, right? And that's what she had to build in order to start bringing a market into. So go ahead and talk about the Facebook group, and let's talk about the identity of Women Who CNC and why you're getting ball caps and sweatshirts and why.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so I'll just keep it short and sweet because I don't want to take away from what all we've got going on here tonight. But absolutely, I had to identify in my avatar, some pain points that people were struggling with, kind of much like you did when you were working with men that were basically retired or getting out of the workplace. They wanted a place to go. They wanted a space. They wanted to get into these CNC routers um, or in machines. And so it was like women were getting into the space as well. But some women were struggling a little bit more than others because they were afraid. They didn't want to get the box out of the machine. It was just intimidating. They were afraid. But it wasn't just that they were afraid. And I speak for both men and women when I say this. it's overcoming the anxiety and the fear that maybe you're not going to be good enough, or that you're not, worth taking that machine out of the box, and conquering your fears and going after what you really wanted, with that newfound time that you have. And even a lot of my ladies are, you know, they're exiting the workforce. They've been out of the workforce for a little while and they're trying to find things. Ellen comes to mind. She is a true, I don't know, I just kind of warms my heart. She is a true woman who CNC, she is a girl after her own heart, chasing down that CNC machine. She's out there working on it day after day. She's hustling. She's putting one foot in front of the other. She's building her business. Um, but she has a family, and she's got other obligations and things, but she wanted this for herself. There was something that was missing from her, and that's what she felt. And I feel like men and women alike both have that same kind of void, something to fill us up. And that's what I had to look for in my avatar when I created the Facebook group Women Who CNC, because I also noticed, even in my own experiences, when you ask kind of, a brand new newbie beginner, there's just kind of those people out there that are just out there to be mean. They're just kind of haters. Um, and sometimes when you're like trying to break into something new and you don't know what you don't know, you get intimidated. You're already like way intimidated by this big, massive machine sitting in front of you, the computer software, the bits, all of it. There's so many components, as you all know, with a CNC. Um, so it's like the last thing you want is some butthead coming along and making you feel like a dum dum because you didn't know the basic fundamentals of how a CNC operates. And so for women, I think it just kind of hurt. It kind of cut us a little bit deeper because we just kind of tend to internalize things like that a little bit. And so within this group, it's just a really safe space for women to come in and say, hey, what is this thingamabobber over here? I don't know what this thing is called. And other women just help out and step up and say, hey, this is what it is, without getting all of that extra, just, I call it, people just are, they're like garbage trucks. Sometimes they just are full of hate and they just kind of dump it on you. They don't, it's just kind of how it is. So,
All right.
but
All
that's
right.
where
So,
that,
ladies, any ladies that aren't in the Women Who CNC group, it's a women only group, Facebook group. Go find it and sign up. And
yeah,
if you're a woman who CNCs, you were talking about Ellen before. You got your merchandise now. The Women Who CNC, the sweatshirt, and Ellen was all over, right? I mean, Ellen
yeah,
is truly becoming that woman who's CNC, right? That person who's owning themselves and saying,
yeah,
I'm not the one that's gonna serve dinner all the time anymore. I'm gonna be doing my thing now. It's my turn, right? And that's the identity of Women Who CNC. All right, let's get on
yeah.
to some questions. We haven't hit the 8 o'clock mark on these things, so
I
let's rock and
know.
roll. And by the way, before we do this, I just want to throw out two that. If you're brand new to CNC, right? There's a lot of information, a lot of you're not really sure. So I've put together a
Yeah.
Kickstarter guide. Uh,
Ooh,
it's a Kickstarter guide. It's like 27-page guide to help beginners
wow.
understand about CNC bits and machines, design software, and so that is that is linked down in Facebook up above, and in the description, and down below in
Okay.
YouTube. There's a little sentence there, and then it has a word more. Click that, and it'll open up a little bit. Click the word more again, and open up, and you'll see where you can get the Kickstarter guide. So
Yeah. Very cool.
okay,
I think that'll be
yeah,
really helpful.
yeah.
All
So
right.
if you're brand new, go for it. Okay, let's do this. We got Patrick about the 3/4 ball nose bit for making juice grooves. He's using my feeds and speeds, but is really chattering a lot. Should you be slowing down the feed rate? Number one, it could be the bigger one of the you could slow down the feed rate, but you want to be careful because you could start getting a bit hot. First of all, don't chuck up on the bit so a lot of the bit is hanging out. A lot of the shank is hanging out. That could be causing some of your chatter, right? Chatter is also relative to the strength of the machine, the rigidity of the machine. Uh, you can also reduce the number of passes. So you can come in
Yeah.
at a an 1/8 inch and go 1/8 inch at a time. One of the things with ball nose bits is they just by their very nature, their shape, they are going to want to fight against its cut a lot more than other router bits.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can bring your
Yeah,
feed
he
rate down a
says,
little bit. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, he says, I was reading the comments, he says he's running the long mill with a Makita router set at 2. So he's running about 12,000 RPMs.
Yeah. Yeah, you can bring that up a little bit too. Chatter gets caused by, effectively you're getting chatter. Chatter is just vibration that's being fed. It's based on the tool, and every time that tool slaps, right, it's going to resist, and then it's going to send a shock wave through the machine, and the machine's going to send it back to the bit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So our laser 314 down here at 8 o'clock. It says, I wish the IDC database was available in metric. As I buy each end mill, I convert the database over for it is based in the number of IDC app gives me. I may think in imperial, but I try to do all in CNC in metric.
Okay. Well, noted. I will get my tech guy on that.
Very good. Thank you for bringing that to his attention.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It comes and goes in my head, but I will get that. Start working on that.
Okay, so Donna was asking another question about that, the VCarve that we were talking about on the back of the chair. So she says, not sure what STL is. I have the picture in VCarve as a carve file, CRV file. So your STL is your 3D model. That's what your STL is.
Yeah, the CRV is the actual the vectric file that you're creating. So when you're creating a design in vectric, there are multiple things that are put in there. It's not just the pretty lines and stuff that we're drawing, but it's node placements, and there's tool paths and tool settings, all kinds of things, and that's what's going to be in the CRV file, and it's done in VCarve format. So that's why it can't be read in other things, other softwares. So there you go, Kate.
So Staci says, I posted in our women's group earlier because I think everybody was just having we had one of our girls, her bit slipped and she ruined a whole project. She had done glue ups and sanded in the whole bit, and her bit slipped, and then Ellen's computer blew up, and then my router decided to, have its little hissy fit.
What's the deal? You girls going on a spree here?
I guess. I don't know. It was just kind of all over the place. I don't know what the hell was happening, but no, I have not gotten a new router. I looked at a couple spindles. I really want a spindle, but the ones I'm looking at, they say 2 to 4 weeks, and I'm like, ooh. So I don't know.
That's shorter than it took the time for your journeyman to get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Norman.
It says, Norm here from Waldport, Oregon. Got a question, actually 2. First, can a toolpath be run in reverse? And second, what different materials do you use? Kate, use for making signs besides wood. Okay, so I'll let you answer the first half of the question. How's that?
Okay. Can a toolpath be run in reverse? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. If you're in when you're creating a toolpath, you'll see a selection that says climb and cut, climb and conventional. And so conventional is your traditional, let's move the material out and not worry so much about a good finish. The climb is going the other direction, and it generally will leave a good finish. But that's what you're looking for. If Vectric gives you the option of climb and conventional, then you can change the direction of the cut. Okay. Sometimes it'll be there and it'll be grayed out, right? Which means that it's not giving you that option for some reason.
Okay.
All right, the next question.
Kate, what different materials do you use for making signs besides wood? All right, so I use PVC. It's just a PVC material. It's about 1/4 inch. It's what I use for my sunflowers that I use. I use the O-flute bit when I cut it. Cuts it like butter. I barely have any cleanup, if at all. I just be sure to carve just a little bit below that. So yes, it does cut into my wasteboard, but that's what it's there for. I've also used, I've never cut foam, but I'm getting ready to do a big sign for an apartment complex out of some HDU. So that should be fun. That'll be a big thing. And trying to think if I think that's really about it.
Yeah, you got acrylic, the HT, the PVCs.
Yeah. I don't
ACM is
use
another
acrylic,
one.
but I know a lot of them. I know a lot of people do. Um, what was what did you say?
ACM, aluminum composite.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can
And
definitely
what
use that.
Yep, what that is, that's a piece of PVC, and it's got two thin sheets of aluminum on each side.
Mhm.
Very good for outdoor use. PVC doesn't work so well over the long term. It's affected by UV.
Yep. Yep. All right, let's see. Kate, what is the best way to clean up fuzzies after making a stacked text sign or pocket letters? So personally, I have, they're like little, oh, what do you want to say? I can grab them over here they're up top here, but they're like little different variety pack. They're on Amazon. We can actually link them in the description below after the video tonight, but basically you put them in your Dremel and they have different, um, like what do you want to call it? Like different grits for them. So they have, I don't know what it is. There's just different grits. They're just, some are really soft, some are a little bit harder depending on what you want to clean up. The other thing I use is you can buy them at Lowe's in like a 3 set. It has like a steel brush, and then one has like some gold bristles, which are a little bit softer. I use the gold brush quite a bit. I like to use that to remove fuzzies. Um, I guess it really depends on what type of wood I'm working with too. Sometimes I think the best thing that I use for cleaning up fuzzies is people really overlook it is running just a cleanup pass with your tool. That will take a lot off of your projects. So
Yeah. So I just put a link into the comments for the little Dremel brushes that Kate was talking about. I've got a
okay.
buttload of them. Use them all the time
Yeah.
for Amazon. So it'll be one of the last comments in YouTube, also in Facebook. But
Okay.
that's what I use. So there's a question here that I want to address from Mark. Can we briefly
Okay.
discuss chip load and what is generally wrong when the machine makes sawdust rather than chips? Thank you. First of all, Mark, thank you for being here. And thank you
Yeah.
for asking that question because a lot of people ask about chip load. And that's
Mhm.
something I will put on this, add to this sheet as well, this
Yeah.
Kickstarter guide that I put together for new people. Again, that's linked in the description below for YouTube and above in Facebook. Um,
Mhm.
Okay, so chip load is basically the amount of chip material that the bit can actually basically fit inside the flute. The flute of the bit is actually that pocket that's in front of the blade. Now, flute is not the cutting blade itself, but we just talk like that. It's what it is. So we'll just leave it at that. So chip load is like the maximum material that can actually fit inside that as the bit is making this cut. So chip load is not something you normally need to worry about in CNC machining at the hobby or smaller business level. It's when you get into more professional machining that you want to start taking that into account because you got to take in the lifetime factors of the tools, how long they're lasting, and such. So that's what chip load is. When push comes to shove,
Yeah.
it's not something to really worry about for most people, unless you are into CNC manufacturing. So I hope that helps you out. The database that I provide at IDC Woodcraft on the website if you go to idcwoodcraft.com, at the top of the menu, it says database downloads. And there you can download the database for Vectric, Carveco, Fusion 360, and Carbide Create. Okay, those feeds and speeds are set a little conservative for people. The intention is, because I know most people get into it, they're relatively new, and they don't really know about how to run things. And so as you get the feel for it, then you up your feeds and speeds. The reason I always suggest you start with a database instead of manually entering in all the material, the information, is because all the data is dumped in at one time. It's all put in there, right? Saves you a ton
invaluable.
So go to idcwoodcraft.com and get the database if you don't have it. You'll save yourself a ton. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You want to talk about what makes sawdust rather than chips?
No. I'm gonna let this is I'll handle a lot of the other ones. I think this is all you. I feel like I've done a lot of talking tonight.
What makes sawdust is you're running too slow. Your feed rate is either too slow or your spindle's running too fast. And so basically it's taking barely a shave at each pass. So you either need to up your feed rate or turn down your spindle speed. And so that allows that bit to move through faster as it's making a cut. It'll take out more material at one time. The thing to watch out for when you're doing that, if your spindle is up too high and you start, so feeds and speeds, we hear that just because that's a ratio that's really important. If you're running too high, you can break a bit, you can burn out your bit, or if you're running too low, you can break your bit. And so if your spindle's too high and you start moving it faster, right, it can actually get your tool hot. Actually, it'll get hotter when you're just making sawdust because it's barely doing any work. It's doing more rubbing than cutting. The heat is whenever something gets cut, it takes work, and work generates heat, and so that heat will get dumped into the chip as it's being created, and then the chip goes away. All right, so hope that answer helps.
Absolutely. Let's see. I think there's a great one from Jeff Clark under here. Has anyone ever tried Pixel CNC? It looks like it might be a great inexpensive $150 cam tool. I've downloaded it, but have yet to try it. I cannot speak to this one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. So anybody that's used it, let them know. So cam tool, for anyone who doesn't understand what that means, CAM, CAM's computer-aided manufacturing or computer-aided machining. All right. In Vectric, the side where you're creating your tool path is the cam tool, as he's referring here. That's where it's actually creating the tool paths. Vectric has both the design and the cam tied together in one software package. That's why I encourage people to get it. In this case, if people are using SketchUp, then they have to export the SketchUp drawing into a CAM tool to create the tool paths. All right, so you're doing extra work that way. But Pixel CNC, never heard of it. So anybody that's used it, make a comment. And Dan said congratulations. So we're finally getting to the congrats part. Dion said congrats.
Yeah. We missed one question though, real quick. I want to go back to this one. So Robert, I'm not sure what exactly your what an Edgelit sign is, but what bit? So maybe if you want to elaborate on that a little bit, we can circle back.
I think it's referring to putting you have a piece of acrylic and you're putting LEDs along the side.
Oh, so what bit you're?
I'm thinking, but elaborate a little bit more. On that question. Thank you, Chris. Chris said congratulations.
Dion. Let's see.
Dion, thank you. And so did Carol.
Oh, he's talking to
Dragon.
someone.
Jeff said dragon. Yes, dragon. You got a question mark next to
that. Tim says, damn proud of you. Congrats. I love this. This is so cute. Congrats, Garrett. That's awesome. Damn proud of you. I love it. That's awesome, Jim. That's awesome. Oh, awesome. See, you have to be celebrated when you do this stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. If
you really
anybody's,
do.
yeah. Well, so that's one of the things. Okay, let's talk about this one too. First of all, for anybody who's signed on late, welcome to the Wednesday CNC hangout with Garrett and Kate. And
Yeah.
so at the beginning, we talked about an award that I had won with my entrepreneurs group. I got Dragon of the Year award, and I'm in a group called Dragons, right? Dragon 100, and it's
Yep.
a very it's a very tight group, hard to get into, rather elite. It's not cheap to get into either. But you get to get direct access to my mentor and with a lot of high, very successful entrepreneurs. Right. I like to be the dumbest person in the room and the poorest person in the room because the only place I can go is up. Anyway, I won Dragon of the Year award. That's what everybody's congratulating me for. So
yeah,
very, very cool.
Dragon of the Year.
Yep. And what I want to say is one of the things that this is some of the mentoring we did with Kate as this whole Wednesday night thing started, and that many people struggle with is most of us are givers, right? We'll give of our time and our knowledge and what have you, but many of us are not good receivers, right? And in order to that's one of the criteria in order to run a business is to learn how to be a good receiver, right? Because the reason I say this is I'm going to tie this together. We'll make a project and we will underprice our project. And ultimately, that's being not a good receiver. We're not receiving the worth that we are.
Yeah.
Right. So learning how to be a good receiver is really, really important. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got lots of things to get through here.
All right. So we have lots of people saying hey. So I just want to do hey, y'all. How's it going, everybody? Hey, hey, hey.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, let's see. All right. Oh, so I see one person popping on here. Jeff Clark. He says first timer. Welcome. I see lots of new people on here just, saying hey. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. We have so many new people. That is incredible. I see so many first timer. Oh gosh. All right, let's see. All right, here. I found one. I love when people put it makes it so easy because you guys have there's a lot of chatter, and so I'm trying to filter through all of the comments. So if you guys put like question and then like semicolon and then your question, oh, it helps me because it just catches my eye. All right,
like
so
just like this, just like Jimbo
just
did.
like this. He says, I burned up my Makita. Hey, me too. The only long bit I had was the 1/4 inch downcut, cutting a profile in hickory 39 millimeters deep in a 20 millimeter pocket. Was that too much? I'll be the first to tell you, I don't communicate in millimeters.
So 39 millimeters is about 1.75 inches.
Okay.
Yeah, 20 millimeters is like 5/8 of an inch. So closer to 3/4 of an inch.
I mean,
so for the Makita router, if that was your depth, if you were cutting that deep in one shot, yeah, you're overpowering a router.
I wouldn't think that he would cut that. There's no way that he would cut that deep.
Not without that thing complaining a lot.
Yeah,
But
no.
what we would need more is the depth of cut.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we've all had, many of us have had Makitas burn out on us, right? Makita was not designed for a CNC machine, the Makita trim router, right? They adopted it because it's nice and small and works. So, but it's not. It's at the bottom end of the day, and Makita has this on their website that it is not for CNC machines, right?
Yep.
So router.
This will be my. This will be my third one that I've gone through in 2 years. But in my defense, I also run my machine almost every single day, and sometimes it's running for 4 to 6 hours a day. So I guess you could say I'm getting my money's worth. How's that? But this
Yeah,
last one, yeah, this last one trying to surface some ash was just no. I don't
said
think
you
I'll
had
ever
it,
try
you
to
had
work
enough.
with.
Yeah. Also, there's brushes in there, and what happens over time? The brushes are made of carbon, and the brushes go against the armature, and the carbon can build up on the armature, and you can get some. And with the wood, right? The wood chips get in there, can actually put like a shellac film, and you can start to lose torque on the machine, right? But it's
Yeah,
still trying to pump in all that power into it, so it's getting hot. So it's a good thing to take the Makito apart every once in a while. It's very easy. It's like 4 screws on the top or on the side, something like that. Blow that
yeah,
sawdust out of there, and you can pull the armature out and clean up that contact area. Just take some really high grit sandpaper, like 1,000 grit type of sandpaper, just clean it up.
yeah. I agree, especially after you work with MDF because that stuff is gnarly. Um, okay, so I see this next question here, but I'm not sure what it is. So Dum Dum Dev, nice. I love the name. What would cause some areas to be slightly lower on the same level, like a few thousandths? Say an unlevel workpiece?
Okay, so I think what he's talking about, I'm going to guess. Remember that video that I created about with the science of down bits?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yep.
almost guessing that that's what's going on. I'm
Okay.
going to guess. So, if you are doing like a stacked, it doesn't have to be stacked. You're doing a pocket cut around the letters or something like that, and as you're creating the cuts, and you notice that like near the letters, it seems to be like a deeper groove, or in other places, it's just not even all the way around. Then what's happening is it's basically the dynamics of the router bit itself that's causing that to happen relative to the amount of material that it's trying to remove. You gotta
Yeah.
always think that a router bit is removing material, and that takes work as force. So if it's cutting through a slot, right, and it's removing the entire diameter of the bit through that slot, that's the full force that that router bit is taking. But as it moves on, and now it's like taking out just 40%, there's a lot less force. Uh, so it's going to take a lot less work on the bit. Also, you get the corkscrew of the bit, and that corkscrew is going to apply an up or downward pressure on the tool and in the wood, and the wood can
Yeah.
actually push away, even though it's not moving. It's just wood can be spongy when you're getting into the softwoods. So look
Yeah.
for a video. I'll put a link. I'm going to find the video,
Okay.
and you run on to the next question.
Okay. All right, give me just 1 second here. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, so we've got, I love like this here. Maybe Chris, maybe you two can hook up to, or hook up. Hi from Perth, Western Australia, watching first time live. Chris, I don't know where you're located in Australia, but we've got another um, fella from down under over here. Let's see. All right. Oh, Chris said hey to him. Okay. All right.
Okay,
So, oh,
I
go
just
ahead.
put I just put a link to that video.
Well, hello.
Yeah, I just put a link to that video that will explain to you what's happening
Okay.
in the description or in the comments.
Very cool. All right. So, Dan, hey, friend, welcome back. Have you ever carved pressure treated cedar? I've got some scrap 6x6 from a fence build and I'm wondering what to do with it. Um, I I don't know about pressure treated. But I will tell you, I just did a one-on-one with a fella and he had to carve a massive, like school, like big middle school sign. Um, I can ask him if that was pressure treated. I don't know that it was, but we actually cut it from the suggestion of a fella from the Onefinity group. He actually suggested to cut it at a 45-degree angle, which is absolutely genius. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the past, because when you're cutting cedar, you're basically going back and forth, and you'll have that tear out and strips, and it just gets kind of gangly. But the biggest thing that we did was, obviously when you're cutting on a 45, if you're cutting out or around any type of lettering, when that bit goes through, it kind of dings the side of your letter. So then you have to come back and do a negative allowance offset to bring that in a little bit. And then that way you can use that as a profile and go around that lettering and clean all that up. But the pictures that he showed me with carving that cedar, it was beautiful. It looked so good. We were just thrilled. But I can ask him about the pressure treated wood, and I'll let you know in the comments. And
yeah, one of the things about pressure treated wood, pressure treated is the wood is dipped in water, right? It's dipped in a chemical, and then there's pressure applied, so the chemical seeps into the wood. Pressure treated lumber is heavy because it's still got a lot of moisture in it, so you need to make sure that let that moisture evaporate out of it.
Very good, very good.
So we got some talk about the file extensions here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Staci, she's correcting you, I guess. DXF is line-based, SVG is curved. So what
Perfect.
Thank you, Staci. DXF, so when you import it, it'll all be straight lines, right? SVG will pick up the curves and the nodes that you can get. Jack is talking about PDF, right? So you'll see that you can import a PDF. And he said it's a container. You can put anything on a PDF, as we already know. So
yeah,
I don't even know how PDFs work with it. I just know when I import them, they come in really small, and I got to expand the damn things. DXF is drawing exchange format. That allows so what that's it. That's when it was done by AutoCAD because of the companies needing to transfer files, and they needed something that would go from between AutoCAD and SolidWorks or something like that.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, that makes more sense, because when you're doing some type of AutoCAD with CNC, it's usually more straight lines. You're doing, I don't know. I'm just thinking more like Metalworks, big time things. They're cutting out big panels. They're doing, stuff like that.
Right.
In our hobby field, we're not doing a lot of that.
All right. Scott, first time here. Welcome, Scott.
Yeah, welcome.
We're at 8:14. Let's roll on this thing. You know what's so cool?
We got our little cursor's like this big.
I know.
Let's see. All right. Okay, so here's a good one at 8:16. Maybe you can help me out with this one. I'm trying to do a one-piece, two-sided lap steel file on VCarve Pro, but I am stuck on the contoured areas. Do I need a spire, or are there workarounds?
Trying to do a one-piece, two-sided lap steel file. I'm not really sure what a lap steel file is on VCarve Pro, but you're stuck in the contoured areas. I would have to, let's just say in a lap steel file, like an actual file, like trying to create a file, like a metal file type of thing. Right, that may be what he means by lap steel file, and so it's got the little cuts along the way, and so I'm going to assume that's what we're talking about. The contoured areas would be the burrs that are actually doing the filing. I'm not sure if that's what we're looking for.
I don't know. I think we may have to defer to the community on this one.
Yeah. If that's the case, we'll throw that one out to Jack in the shop. We'll corner him. He's the pro. Dan is a good one too, right? Got a lot of technical knowledge. But it got me thinking, how would you actually do that? There
Yeah.
is a way to do things like that. If I have not done it, but I've seen Vectric on their website when I was first learning the software. They have a video that kind of talks about being able to do something like that.
This makes me think of when we had Kyle Eli on here, and remember how he was talking about doing some type of contoured curve. I
Uh-huh.
can't remember back in the lesson there
Yes.
was I was just like, what just happened? And like
Right.
he just like went out into left field and I was like, what just happened? I don't even like I'm not even I couldn't even keep up with what he was saying. But
Right.
his course might be a really good option for you over at learnyourcnc.com. He has everything from the very beginning all the way through 3D, rotary. I mean, you name it. He's got it. There's a
Yeah.
fabulous community that goes along with him. So I would definitely check out his site. There's links for all of that in the description below.
Right. Yeah. So you can find a site. Yep. Kyle
Yeah.
Ely. He put together a whole full Vectric course,
Ely,
and
I'm so sorry.
everybody. Yeah, that's okay. Anybody I've talked to have said it was well worth the money spent to sign up that course. Right. It's what I preach all the time. I'll preach it here since you brought it up. Right. As CNC creators, we
Yep.
invest a lot of money in our machines, into the tooling and the building our tables and just a lot of sweat equity, and then we don't think to go invest in our knowledge into the software that actually creates the projects, right? So invest in your knowledge. That's we build our skills, get the training instead of trying to figure it out. Us guys, at least this kind of guy, I don't need instructions. I'll just figure it out. With
Yeah.
with mechanical stuff, we can do it, but when it comes to software, there are certain ways it has to run, and we can't see it.
Absolutely.
We can't get our hands on it and say this screw needs to tighten down here, this screw needs to go there, because it's all happening in the background. So
Yeah.
it works a bit different, right? So I would certainly recommend, if you're with the Vectric software, you definitely check out Kyle's course. Its
Yeah.
links are in the description. Facebook up above, YouTube down below. All right, we are
Yeah.
only at 8:16, and the time is 9:17.
17.
All right, let's go to questions only,
Okay. All
and
right.
we'll
So,
just acknowledge everybody for the hellos and what have you. So,
yes. All right. So we've got Barry. He says, total newbie here, wondering which software you would recommend. So hopefully a little bit of our last question kind of answered this. He's usually using Carbide Create. Garrett teaches in Vectric. I teach in Vectric. There's a lot of Kyle Eli obviously has an entire course on Vectric. Mark Lindsay is another huge person on on CNC here on YouTube. That I mean, very very thorough training. So Garrett and I can speak for him. I'd probably say we both recommend Vectric. Just depends on what you want to do and how far off into the weeds you want to get. Whether you want like 2D, Vectric Pro. There's all kinds of different. What do you want to say? Package sizes for what you want. I know like 2D has just like the basic functions, the top row, pocket, toolpath, your quick engrave, and I think there's maybe one or two more, but so, you know,
all right,
once you
all
kind
right,
of
we got
level up, you get a little more.
yeah. Just a shout out to our brother. We got to welcome Greg. He has pulled the trigger, and he got the Phantom Atomic. Man, oh, you got me
Wow.
drooling, brother. So the Phantom is the pro level machine that I recommend here, right? But I have pretty much the base level machine. He's got one. The Atomic has tool changers on it, and so
Ooh.
it's like, oh man. So congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I know. Some of my CNC students have these enormous machines, and I'm just like, I would just love to play with that.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
Just trying to run through questions. I'm down to 8:26. Let's see. All right, here's one from Greg. Hi, Greg.
Okay.
Welcome.
New here, he says, what would be the big difference in projects that could be done on a 4x4 versus a 4x8 CNC? All right, so I will say this just as I had this come up in a conversation with a client tonight. So for this big apartment building thing, I'm going to be venturing off into doing some tiling with this HDU sign because my machine has actually 48 inches, but I can only really cut about 47 and a half if I'm like really pushing the limits by 32. So, you know, that extra space allows you to do those extra big job. It really depends on your niche and what you want to do. If you want to do the big industrial or not industrial, but like big size signs for schools and outdoor projects and things like that, then the 4x8 machine would actually be very, very beneficial to you. But if you're just going to be doing it for a hobby level projects, things like that, the 4x4 would be fine.
Yeah. What other kind of projects? I did an Adirondack chair, and I could fit them all on a 4x4 sheet, but not all the parts. I had to cut them in two sheets. This is a 4x4 here. My school of thought is go as big as you can. Right. Give yourself the ability to the bigger you have, the more flexibility you have.
That's fair.
It's just at the end of the day. And someone said it to me once: buy your last machine first.
That's what I did.
Yep.
Well,
all right. Well, you did.
kind of.
You did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. I bought the biggest machine that they had from Winfinity at the time. Now they have
Right.
bigger ones that I would love to get. And actually, for me, it's kind of cool because Winfinity has the extension kits where I can just, you know, upgrade my rail or I can, you know, do whatever. So it's
Yeah,
actually kind of fun.
that's another option. Get a machine where you can buy an extension off of it for it.
Yeah,
But I've got the 4x4, and it's still too small for some stuff I've wanted to do.
I know. Or
Right.
if you want to do epoxy tables, like me,
Right.
like I'm doing this big 5 foot by 3 foot table, and I was like, hey, we'll just bring it down to you and you can surface it because mine doesn't hold 5 feet. And he was like, mine doesn't either. I was like, crap.
Right. Damn it. You need to find someone in Indy that has a 4x8 machine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Poe on the Go. Cool name. So he's building his machine from scratch based off the Bob CNC system, I'm assuming. What recommendations do you have? Steppers, belt, thread rod, etc. So I would say do a search for a video that I created called The Ultimate CNC Buyer's Guide. Okay. And what I do in that video is I talk about all the stuff that you want to be looking for in the CNC machine when you're looking to buy one. What you want to get, what you want to stay away from. For example, belts versus threaded rod versus ball screws versus a rack and pinion. Right. So I would recommend that you go watch that video, and that will cover the entire gamut of all that stuff. So do a search for the Ultimate CNC Buyer's Guide, CNC Router Buyer's Guide.
Okay.
All right. But I'll tell you, I would stay away from belts. I would also stay away from threaded rod. Neither one of those are going to be running belts, they have to be set at a certain tension. And if you don't set them at a certain tension, then you're going to have issues. And belts do break from time to time. Ball screws are very accurate, but they require more maintenance. Lead screws are adequate for CNC routers, but you can do ball screws. Kate's the journeyman's got a ball screw on it. My lawnmow's got a lead screw on it. Phantom's got a rack and pinion on it.
We're just across the board here.
Yeah. Watch that video. If you're in the market for a CNC router and you're not sure what to get, go do a search for the Ultimate CNC Routers Buyer's Guide on YouTube. You'll get a ton of information. You will know more than most people do when they're shopping.
Okay. So I think this is a really good question. I think a lot of people run into this. So Scott, he says, I ran several programs successfully so far, but all of a sudden I can't set my tool paths. I get a pop-up saying I need to check my tool can fit in the vectoric depth measurement. So there's like a couple components to this question. So if your tool can fit, sometimes if your vectors are too close and the tool that you're trying to use can't come between them, that's sometimes you'll get a pop-up saying that. And the best way I teach my students to combat that is just grab a circle and make that circle whatever size tool you're trying to use, and then zoom in on your vectors and then place that circle in between them, and then you'll know if your vectors are too close. You can easily check that. That's just a quick and dirty way kind of to see if the tool will fit. And then the other one is I got a pop-up saying I need to check my tool can fit into the vectoric depth measurement. Do you want to take this second part?
Oh, well, I think that's part of the same thing. I don't remember that
Yeah.
specific alarm, but I'm thinking it's the same thing. Sometimes we'll do a design, and what I've done is I had a 1/4 inch bit, and I still had another vector selected, like a text, and the bit just couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
Right, and so I couldn't create a toolpath.
Yeah, I've never seen a depth measurement error. I've never seen that, so I think that's maybe kind of what you're referring to.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, Dan says he's done QR codes with great effects on his laser.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, so Jack was saying about QR codes. It's interesting. You ought to look up QR codes sometimes and how they work.
Yeah.
They have this error correction in it at least 2 levels. And what that means is if a part of the QR code gets messed up, it can still interpret because there's other ways it can read the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, QR codes are fascinating.
I'm going to have to definitely look into that.
Oh. This is from Dan. Pro tip about finding keywords using Google's autocomplete. Yeah, open an incognito window, do the search. So this is we're going back to
the incognito is so awesome.
Yeah. So what he's talking about here is when you're on your website should have words that people are searching for. And how to figure out what people are searching for is simply go to Google. You can do it incognito because incognito is not pulling from your cache in your computer, and start typing in what you're looking for, what you make, and that drop down where it has all these different selections. These are actual search terms that people are putting in. So you want to use those exact terms and phrases in your website.
And that goes for anything. I mean, even like on Etsy, wherever you're shopping, I mean, do that. Like just type in the first couple things that you're looking for and see what pops. So those are going to be your keywords. I think this is a really great comment from Dion when you were talking about creating your group, or, I guess a manual for your business folks. There needs to be an all-in-one group for starting up a CNC business. There's so much to starting up an LLC, bookkeeping, taxes, e-stores, bank account, credit card processing, email setup, domain names. Whew. The list goes on.
Yes, it does. There's a lot.
Yes.
I starred him. You see that? I put a star next to his name.
Yeah, I see that.
Because that's all in one CNC business. I'm going to write that down while you're looking.
Yeah.
And there's also the mentoring aspect of it.
Yeah.
Right? The guidance, the learning how to do it. Go ahead.
Oh. Well, looks like we had one fan here. I don't know if you see this here. I'm sure everybody else sees this. Oh, Robert. Here, I'm just going to pop it. I'm just going to call him out here because this is how we do. Uh, this is like watching paint dry. Going to go cut something. You know what,
Yeah.
Robert? We usually have a lot of really good questions. We have a lot going on. We're just, we were off last week. We're just kind of getting back into the swing of things. You know what? So that's okay. That's okay. Go have fun cutting something.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
let's see here.
yeah, thank you for
Okay.
bringing that out. Right. It's this is very nice. Good. Um, he just got bumped. I just bumped him off.
Oh, well,
Right.
okay.
Right. IDC Woodcraft. I have a zero tolerance policy. Right. I don't need assholes, buttholes. We are a creative space. We are uh, here to win and to move ahead. And
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Garrett's just getting back from a big trip. I've been busy this week. Yeah, maybe our energy isn't like, where it needs to be for tonight, but that's okay.
yeah,
We're here, we're showing up, and that's like half the battle is you've got to consistently show up for yourself. And sometimes you're a little offbeat, but that's okay.
yep.
It's the fact that we showed up, you guys showed up, we're asking questions, we're getting answers, we're doing our jam. So touche, friend.
Yep. All right.
There's a door. All right. So I
Okay.
see something kind of fun here. Um, oh, okay. Let's see. Renata, she says, fun fact, I was the first one to sign up uninvited to the Women Who CNC group before it went full throttle after watching the mentoring session where it was the first mention between you two, and I had to search for it on Facebook. And lo and behold, there it was, brand spanking new. Pretty amazing the thing you started off there, Kate. Very nice. I love
That's
it.
that's that's a loving statement.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renata.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, it is
Yeah.
fun to see everything taking off. So that's fun. I love that. Let's
Okay.
see.
There's one. So this is business, right?
Okay. I don't know if it has been mentioned before, but your avatar reminds me of Rosie the Riveter for women during World War II who greatly helped the war effort, helped win the war.
We're talking
Yes.
about your logo,
Yes.
right?
So that's kind of where it stemmed from. We really wanted something that was going to show strength, and Rosie the Riveter is absolutely a woman of strength. So thank you for that comment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Brian, thank you. You wanted to express your appreciation and commitment for doing what we do, and you're welcome. And thank you for
Yeah.
being here.
Yeah.
We would be nothing without you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Tim said, I second that, Brian. That's very nice. Thank you guys. We appreciate that. We
Yeah.
really do, because, it happens. Um, okay, let's see what else we've got going on here. Oh, I see that link that you popped in there for the, so just in case you guys wanted to know, there's that link for Amazon for those little brushes where we're talking about cleaning up for the fuzzies. And there's another one in there.
Real quick from Andy, are you sharing your bit databases online with the new version of Vectric 11.5? Yeah. Yeah, same one will work in 11. It works in 11.5. Works in 10.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, Mark Lindsay. There he is. Mark's been here for a while, of course, but
yeah. Let's see. He says, "Evening, y'all. I'm just in time to miss the whole thing. That's okay." Okay. You know what was so cool?
look at it on our end, right? We're just in time to get to his thing at the end, right? Get to his comment.
You know what was so cool is that even though we were gone last week, Mark was incredible. He stepped up. He actually did a Wednesday night live at 8 p.m. He was talking about. Well, I'll let you kind of talk what he was going through. Wasn't it? There were some
It
new
was a
YouTube features.
Yeah, he was teaching about what he knew about YouTube and how to work with YouTube because he's had quite a few questions regarding that. By the way,
Okay.
folks, in the comments, if you want Mark on next week to join us, just say, yeah, hey, hell yeah, bring Mark on. Yeah, what do we want? Bring Mark on. Thumbs up, something. So,
Yeah.
but it's got to, yeah. So then I'll talk to Mark and see if he's available for next week.
Yeah. Then maybe Mr. Snooty Pants, he'll be like, oh, I want to get back on that. And
All right.
sorry. I don't know
All
what to
right.
tell you, Grasshopper. Do, do, do.
Oh, this is one I can't help you with. Any good reference points to start with Fusion 360? So, Facebook user, we can't see you because Facebook, you have to give Facebook permission to see who you are and your name. But I would recommend you bring this question back next week, but come on the IDC Woodcraft YouTube channel where most people are hanging out at, right? So, where most of the comments are coming in at. And then when you ask that question, those who use Fusion 360 will jump right in and they'll start giving you some guidance.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And then there was Mark was he gave a really good comment to our friend earlier who was talking about the hickory and the passes you needed to make in order to get a better, not have all those issues with your Makita router. So there you go, friend. All right, so I think this is a really great one. It says, question from Holly and Frank Miller. Do you have a recommendation for a bit set for sign making? Well, I don't know anybody that has a great starter set for sign making. Do you?
No, I don't.
You don't know? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, Holly and Frank,
Well,
this is
let's kind of run down this in this way. What bits do you generally use when you're making signs?
so when I am making signs, my go-tos are my 60 degree, my 90 degree, quarter inch end mill, 1/8 inch end mill, and usually if I'm doing like wider sign letters or something like that, I'll use a quarter inch ball nose and then the 1/8 inch ball nose if I need to get in finer detail. I think the ball nose bit really is underused, especially in
I agree.
lettering. Just because, especially in laminates like birch ply or something like that, you have to use a piece of laminate, otherwise so you don't get holes in your signs. And that ball nose bit gives you that perfect, little bit of curved edge, still gives it a really unique appearance. Maybe not that sharp, V that we all love, but it really does. So, Holly and Frank, Garrett actually sells a starter bit or a starter router bit set. He kind of put it together. He saw that there was a need in the market because, like all of us who are starting out, much like yourselves, trying to find the right things, the right bits, he put together a really great set. So go on over to idcwoodcraft.com and check out that router bit set that you can
The
pick up.
starter set has all those bits. Plus, it's got a few more. It's got the quarter inch, quarter, 1/8, and 16th inch down cutter. The
Yeah.
the 90, 60, and 30 V bits. They're blade style V bits, so they leave a lot
Yeah.
cleaner cut. And then 2 ball nose, right? The 1/8
Oh, there you
inch
go.
and a quarter inch ball nose, right?
Yeah.
And then I throw in an extra bit there, an 1/8 inch up, 1/8 inch up cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'll talk to you, Kate. I'll put together a sign making kit. And then we'll see what you use mostly for your signs, and then I'll put a set together.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be fantastic. I know a lot of people would really like that. So, and I know you've got some stuff in the works as far as maybe making that a bit of a, even fancier set, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I've got other bits coming that are different. I've got half-inch coming, half-inch shank coming that I'm going to be testing, and then talking.
Yeah.
Oh, also the little beast, right? So the 1/8 inch. People have asked me about the 1/8 inch beast and the 1/8 inch.
Yep.
And so I've got one of those
baby
coming.
beast.
Well, we're gonna. Adam, the photographer, he said, "Why don't you call it the Wolverine? Because it's got to be smaller than the beast, right? So the Wolverine."
Ooh, I really like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's coming, and I'll be testing that for a little while, and then see if we get that out.
Okay.
So long as it passes my tests, I might have to come up with some modification of the designs. It required my tooling company to buy some new tooling, new grinding wheels.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make it work.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got some good stuff here.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's do a couple more, then we got to check out.
all right. I saw somebody commenting on the Makita, how the dial kind of turns on its own. There are several people out there that make it's kind of like a little claw clip, and so it clips it on there so it keeps that vibration from happening, or a piece of painter's tape works. Duct tape,
Yeah,
whatever
if
you
you
use,
know what, on
works
that
great.
note, I've seen that enough that I need to talk to somebody who has a 3D printer. Wait, I know someone's got a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Jack in the shop. Jack, we got to talk about that too. The little Makita clip, because a lot of
Yeah.
people need that.
There's all kinds of gizmos and gadgets and gadgets and
Yeah, Jack and
um,
I were. Yeah, sorry.
I think that would be something that's kind of a good note to kind of wrap up on. I think there's a lot of, with the field expanding into hobby CNC, I think it would be beneficial for us to maybe do, collaborate on some type of, um, kind of like what you did for the Ultimate Beginner's Guide. What do you really need on your, um, what do you really need for a CNC to make it work? It was so fun because I actually had a student of mine. He is actually an airline pilot for United, and he had a layover. And so he's like, "Hey, do you want to meet for lunch and we can just, talk or whatever?" And so he wound up coming out to my house and spending the day with me. And he's got a 1finity on order, and he came out and kind of put his hands on it. And he was like, "What? Do I need this? Do I need that? Like, I'm seeing all these things and all these options, and the market's just becoming really flooded with like brushes and little plugs for to keep dust out of everything." And I was like, everything is an upgrade. There's a
Yeah.
lot of upgrades. There's a lot of really like necessary things, like dust collection is really necessary, but do you really need like this $200 dust shoe? Maybe not. Like
Hmm.
starting out, all the things. I think that would be really helpful for people.
Yep. All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We can start putting something together like that. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do one more question, and then we'll have to say bye to everybody from Matthew.
Oh,
Um,
that's the question we were just talking about.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that bit, that bit vibration.
I just saw the word question, so I was going, okay, it worked.
Hey. Oh, wait. Okay, here I see one. Oh, this is a little um oh, what do you want to say? Question we get all the time is what I was trying to say. So question, um, have you used light machine oil, and am I wondering how to apply it to the bottom of the XY bearing rails?
We had
Any
that
ideas?
question last time on the Shipoko. I don't know. I don't know the Shipoko, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah, I
So
don't know either.
apparently, it's hard to get to the lower bearings on that machine to
Yeah.
service them. I would
Vortex.
ask Shipoko, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say Vortex 8. If you want to go into last week's episode on Garrett's YouTube channel, the live tab, you can actually go into that feed and then kind of look through the questions. And I know a lot of people answer that question, so that might help you um, figure out the best way to do that for a lot of people that had that on. So, oh, I love Carolyn. She says, bring Mark on. I love that.
No,
That's
look at that.
awesome.
Bring Mark on. There you go, Mark.
Yeah, you're getting uh you're getting all kinds of things. Oh, I love this. This is funny. Rosie the Riveter meets Clara the Crafter. We've got all kinds of incredible women that are doing all kinds of things. Jim,
Right.
he says, hell yes. Dan says, get Mark, add Mark next week. Richard was very kind in saying, love to have the three of you on next week. Very cool, very cool.
Okay.
Uh,
Gosh, there's still a couple of questions I want to answer. God, it's
all right,
hard.
so
It's hard to stop because we hate to leave people hanging out there.
I
So
know.
next time, Kate, we'll give them those instructions ahead of time, and we will focus on those.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Question. I'm trying to replace number carved into a wedding sign. Planning to VCarve pocket and replace with matching wood blank, then recarve? Okay, I'm trying to replace number carved into a... Okay, so you're planning to replace the number that was in there. So you're planning to VCarve pocket and replace with a matching wood blank. Okay. So it's already in there. They're pocketing
I
it
see what they're
out.
doing. Wants to get rid of the number that was carved in there and put something else. So it's basically
Yeah.
making a plug.
Yeah. Or like doing it, I guess, doing like an inlay kind of.
Kind
Then
of.
recarve. I
That
don't know that.
really is the way to do it, but you'll have to resurface everything.
Yeah.
What I would do though, I would put whatever blank you put in there. You want it so it's big enough that it's like sits in the whole pocket. Otherwise, it'll show up if you have like three numbers next to each other and you just create a plug for one. Then it's gonna obviously show. You know, your stain is gonna absorb differently or what have you.
Yeah. That's a little tricky.
All right, let's call this a night, Kate. We're at 9:45.
Well, here, I want to show this one last comment.
Okay,
Hold on.
go ahead.
This is great. It says, Julie Frank, I am the wife of Tom who just started seeing, and I'm watching and enjoying you two. I am a retired teacher and want to thank you for your no tolerance policy for disrespect. Blessings to you both. Well, thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
And Julie,
And
go over to the Women's Who CNC group. Go
Yeah,
join our group.
join the
I'd love to have you.
Facebook group. And just so you know, Kate bumped somebody else too. I believe I
Yep.
saw that. Yep. So we just don't have tolerance for it. Okay. Well, we are going to catch you next week. Have a great CNC evening and rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll
All
catch
right.
you later.
See you guys.